my cars on flatbed. Hey, this is a recession, selling that crack, yeah. Niggas selling super sour and bionic glue, and got Superman powers when I'm stressed new. New Corvette looking like a transformer. No seatbelt screaming on my damn lawyer. Damn, I'm knee deep in the projects, and Hollywood ain't accepting no nigga from the project. New Corvette looking like a transformer. No seatbelt screaming on my damn lawyer. Damn, I'm knee deep in the projects, and Hollywood ain't accepting no nigga from the project. New Corvette looking like a transformer. No seatbelt screaming on my damn lawyer. New Corvette looking like a transformer. No seatbelt screaming on my damn lawyer. New Corvette looking like a transformer. No seatbelt screaming on my damn lawyer. Damn, I'm knee deep in the projects, and Hollywood ain't accepting no nigga from the project. New Corvette looking like a transformer. No seatbelt screaming on my damn lawyer. Damn, I'm knee deep in the projects, and Hollywood ain't accepting no nigga from the project. New Corvette looking like a transformer. No seatbelt screaming on my damn lawyer. Damn, I'm knee deep in the projects, and Hollywood ain't accepting no nigga from the project. Yeah. John Dillinger shit. Corvette looking like a transformer. No seatbelt screaming on my damn lawyer. Damn, I'm knee deep in the projects, and Hollywood ain't accepting no nigga from the project. New Corvette looking like a transformer. No seatbelt screaming on my damn lawyer. Damn, I'm knee deep in the projects, and Hollywood ain't accepting no nigga from the project. Yeah. John Dillinger shit. Niggas in the hood wanna see my cars on flatbed. Hey, this is a recession, selling that crack, yeah. Niggas selling super sour and bionic glue, and got Superman powers when I'm stressed new. New Corvette looking like a transformer. No seatbelt screaming on my damn lawyer. Damn, I'm knee deep in the projects, and Hollywood ain't accepting no nigga.
Greetings, Black family. Thank y'all for tuning in to Grand Risings with Shabaka. Greetings, Shabaka.
Hey, how you doing?
Usually on Blog Talk Radio, but I'll let Shabaka explain it to y'all what's going on. Go ahead, Shabaka.
Yes, sir. Okay, and thank you so very, very much. Okay, what's happening here, ladies and gentlemen, with Blog Talk Radio is that they shadow banning us. They're refusing payments, for us to downgrade our platform from its premium plan to its, from its gold plan to its silver plan. Okay, and what it is that it had a dispute with them. They didn't take any payments, because we blocked the payments when they wanted to charge us the $99, but we was trying to downgrade to the silver plan, and their fucking algorithms does not allow it. And then you cannot talk to nobody at their personnel. They're giving you this virtual assistant prepackaged bullshit is that it's not getting back with us. You see what I'm saying, Black family? And so then what it is that when they do this, they deprive themselves of revenue and all that. But what it is that they don't dig a pro-Black message, and that's what any of these damn platforms. So we try to check out Spreaker. Guess what, folks? Spreaker and Blog Talk Radio got the same damn address down in San Antonio, Texas. So what does that tell you? So what happens is that they went on and merged and didn't send no information out, to the people subscribing to it. Okay, so then They want to definitely not so much go to your debit card to charge it, but they want to go straight to your bank account. You see, and then I'm having a dispute with them on that with the bank account situation, and I have to go follow up on that. And I even went so far as to say, well, let's try a payment, for the silver plan, which is $39 a month. And they say the card has been declined. Okay, the $39 was on it. Then I even went so far as to buy a debit card, okay, with it, which is very dangerous to do. All right, they wouldn't even accept that. So what I'm going to do with this debit card that I just brought is go use it to put some gas in my gas tank and tear this motherfucker up. You
Yeah,
see, they all are in cahoots with each other, black family. You see what I mean? And so what it is that we got to get on code and stay on code, amongst ourselves. Now, I appreciate that there's some black platforms out there like melanatedpeople.net and what have you to compete with Facebook. You see what I'm saying? Which is great, beautiful, but they want to charge you for it. You see what I'm saying? They want
yeah,
to charge you for it. Now, I don't mind helping the brothers out, you know what I'm saying? But what it is, what kind of exposure are we getting? How are we going to make revenue off of this for ourselves? And then there was another pro black platform a couple of years ago. I'm not going to speak any names. You know who it is, Brother Jay, that I
yeah.
had to back up off of is because I'm up here having a debate with this dude on Facebook, and he is of that mindset where we're all slaves and all this old type of shit. And I'm like, no, cat, because see what you guys, when you come up with that bullshit and talking about the Irish and all of that, you are overlooking and you are suppressing, okay, the brutalization that was committed on our people, your Joe Gibsons, which have you ass scratchers like Pianki and whatnot, Now we have our man Sarge, Sarge is Sarge, you know what I'm saying? I love to debate with Sarge, and I've showed up here, and I've showed up here on some live feeds of references of the material that I refer to, and I mainly go to the writings of Lerone Bennett, who is a major contributor writer, for the Johnson publications that got sold to Time Magazine. And what it is, black family, when it comes to our commerce, you see, we are not going to get ahead economically if we are selling our ideas, to Universal Music Group, Time Magazine, what's the dude's name, Warren Buffett and all that. That is,
Yeah, Warren Buffett.
yeah, that is not
You got
progress,
you
black
got
family.
some like some white noise in the background.
Oh, man. Okay, hold on. Okay, what about now?
You sound much clearer. It
Okay, all
sound like
right. Okay, all righty. So therefore, yeah, okay, I got the microphone closer to where I'm speaking at. Okay, so therefore, as we know, we crumb bum on all Yasa bosses, ass scratchers, Tim Scotts and what have you, Leo Terrell, Larry Elders, you know what I'm saying? It's because these damn fools are a detriment to our progress. And we have to face the fact, black family, we have to face the fact, okay, is that the inclusion of illusion leads to our exclusion.
yep.
Get it? And illusion of inclusion leads to our exclusion. Now, these black mayors, you know what I'm saying? Eric Adams, and what's the clown in Chicago, man? Brendan somebody.
Brandon Johnson.
Yeah, Brandon Johnson, you know what I'm saying? London Bridge out there in San Francisco and what have you. And I don't know if Keisha Bottoms is still the mayor of the
No,
ATL.
it's Eric Dickens, Deacons, uh,
Okay,
something
black
like
guy.
yeah.
Yeah, okay. All right. Well, we'll see. We'll give Mr. Deacons a chance to see, what he's about before we crumb bomb on him.
From what I've heard, he ain't about shit either.
Okay, all right, that figures just like Uncle Tom Bradley in Los Angeles, man. You know what I mean? And from the '70s to the '90s, you know what I mean? Who didn't do
Because
shit.
I think he's in support of that cop city that they're trying to put out there in Atlanta.
Okay, supporter of Cop City. In other words, what it is that you are tearing, that you are turning the police agencies into paramilitary organizations against the people. They're a domestic army. They're a
Yep.
domestic Marine Corps. Even have to
Of
say
gay
it.
soldiers.
Yeah,
They're
exactly. Exactly. Then of course with their helicopters up there and stuff like that. They're a domestic terrorist organization, man, from the from the air, the land, the sea and all of this. And then they are doing their hidden agendas of racist white supremacy. The FBI had stated years ago you have a lot of white supremacists, infiltrating, municipal police agencies at the city level, at the state level, and what have you, but they're not telling you what are they doing to combat it. And then a lot of these black cops, who are perpetuating this, and it's like, boss, we sick.
dead.
Yeah,
Hmm.
what that is. Now, somebody had brought to my attention, well, you had black slave owners doing the slave trade in the United States of
Well,
America.
what they're leaving out, Shabaka, is a lot of those black slave owners and
Yes, sir.
their
Their
ancestors.
their family members
Family
that
members.
buying them their freedom. You know what I'm saying? So they don't want to mention that part right there. You
But
see, yes, sir.
something had there was a video I was looking for about Professor Black Truth. I can't find it, but I found one by Tariq, and
Hmm.
it's about this Pan Africanism, like I've said over and over and over again. It's been a
Hmm.
one sided thing.
Okay.
I had gotten to it with one of our brothers. I'm not gonna mention his name, but we both know.
Right.
And he
Right.
got upset because I was like, "Man, this is not being reciprocated." They,
Okay. You
keep
talking about
talking
throughout
about,
the diaspora, right? I
yeah,
got you. Yeah, and I
you keep
feel
talking
you.
about we need to unify. We need to unify. It's
Uh
it's
huh.
like, it's just like when I hear black people say, "Well, we need to come together. We need to come together."
Right.
Well, the code says if we're gonna come together, we need to come together for a constructive and productive reason. We can't
Right.
be coming together and nothing gets done. And
Right.
for Pan Africanism, we can't be the only ones that's waving the flag. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
Like the
Yeah.
only ones that's pulling the weight.
Yeah, because you got
Um,
all these colonists out here, man, or these neo colonists, man, that are sitting up there, man, giving England and France more of a leadway, man, of their degradation of what they're doing. You see what I'm saying? And then on top of it as well, too, is that when you mention that, you're a black racist guy. There's no such thing as a black racist. It's
right.
because we do not control any economical resources, no educational institutions, no military, okay, no neighborhoods. You see, we're in no type of
Yeah.
position to implement any quote unquote black racism.
Yeah,
And
you're
then
right, Black
another
Sun.
thing,
Black Sun. We got people in the comments. Shout out to Deacon. Shout
oh
out to
yeah,
Deacon. And shout out
oh
to
yeah.
Black Sun. Black Sun says never allow these devils access to your personal bank account.
Exactly, he's right, and that's what I'm doing, and and I'm showing that up. You know what I'm saying? And he's absolutely correct about that. You see, and then on top of it, when you did have like in the late '60s and early '70s, you had a lot of black-owned banks, right? But what the
Mm-hmm.
hell did the black-owned banks wind up doing? Selling out to
Selling
Wells
out.
Fargo,
Yeah.
selling out, the Bank of America, and all that, as opposed to standing on the square saying that, hey, that we doing this here, for ourselves. See, they get very, very scared about that. Okay, then you get these brain dead motherfuckers out here. Oh man, well, this here happened to that group and that group and all that. Okay, well, fine, great, beautiful. That's their
Their
concern,
problem, right?
not ours. You see, because you could best believe that these same damn groups that you were talking about that were oppressed, who are non-African, they still benefited off the transatlantic slave trade. Okay, and then on top of it as well, too, the biggest damn lie that they said, well, black people fell themselves into slavery. Bullshit. It was a divide and conquer technique, just like when the white man first came here to the continent of Aztlan, what they refer to as North America, Brother Che, because I forgot when I was in Denver one time, I was speaking with this woman who was native. I said, what is the true name of the continent of North America? She told me it was Aztlan. So fine, I'm going to refer to it as Aztlan. Okay. And then two is that they tried to downplay the horror of it, just like when we did the episode of Mandingo. You see what I mean?
Yeah.
And then, of course, you get these Karens out here who are told the brother, well, if you don't fuck me, I'm going to tell master that you raped me. You see what I'm saying? And so, damned if he do, damned if he doesn't. You see? But when we talk about this, man, this is where we get all this hateration and this self-loathing. And then you get these centers of miseducation. And then they want to pull funding from the historical black colleges and universities. You see what I'm saying?
We can blame Hyde and Biden for that.
Oh, yes, sir. And then also, too, Brother Che, we got to have a friendly debate like how we do. Oh, by the way, take that hat off, man.
Never.
Like how we have our friendly debate, on the Broncos and the Raiders, because it's quite obvious Brother Che is a fan of the Pony Express.
The Broncos, goddammit.
Yes. Okay, and I'm a fan of the Pirates, you know what I'm saying? Been through 3 cities, and he calls us that we can't never find a permanent home. Well, pirates go everywhere. But then there are those who will sit up there saying, well, if y'all are so conscious, why are y'all worried about, these professional sports? Okay, answer to that, because, I had some critics on that. Answers to that is because we produce the wealth for these industries, you see what I'm saying, of professional sports. So we should be up there controlling the teams of it. Now, there was that asshole of the Washington Commanders says, well, if you niggers don't like that, go back to Africa when you see how bad it is, blah, blah, blah. And then he says, well, then what you guys need to do is buy your own damn teams. Bingo. So let's focus on that. And I'm willing to bet dollars to donuts. And I don't have $100 bill where I could show up at, like how we do.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm broke, you know what I'm saying, for a minute. But I'm willing to bet if we had a black-owned team and NFL black players, go ahead, do not re-sign your contracts. In fact, break the damn contracts because they're not giving you proper representation as a people anyway, and form our own leagues in basketball.
Right, we did it before. I don't see why we can't do it again.
Right, exactly. And they have to do it in mass. So who knows? Maybe somebody out there, Brother Che, had heard our message and is putting it up on the drawing board to do.
I think Ice Cube heard the message and already implemented it with the Big 3.
Oh, okay.
They trying to shut him down, like they was trying not to televise the games. And
right.
We need to do a show on that.
Oh, yes, sir. Yeah, write it up. And we do have a raggedy ass show for Blog Talk Radio on a slow playing. Okay.
The white noise is back, Shabaka.
Huh?
The white noise is back.
Okay, wait a minute. Okay, is it gone now?
Still there.
The white noise is still here. Okay, it's this headset, which is a piece of shit. Damn. Okay, all right.
I was gonna play this video real quick.
Yeah, go ahead.
But it's a different one. But it's a similar topic. So is Pan-Africanism dead? So Tariq did a show like a year ago, asking that question. So we're gonna break that down real quick, and then I was gonna go to what's happening with your boy Newsom. I think for president.
Man, that scrub, man, they ought to run him into a damn jail cell, man. You know what I'm saying?
And then we're gonna crumb bum on Daniel Cameron.
Okay, and enlighten me on who that idiot is, sir.
That's the one I was telling you that was responsible for letting off the police officers involved in killing Breonna Taylor with the no-knock warrant in Kentucky.
Well, and he was the attorney general or the district attorney, I believe.
Yeah, he was the attorney general of Kentucky, and then he just caught himself trying to run for governor and lost.
Okay, all righty. Glad the bastard lost. You know what I'm saying? Because that was murder with Breonna Taylor. She in the bed with her man. You know what I'm saying? And they come up there and kick in her door and whatnot, and then the man goes up there and defend it, and they kill her. You see what I mean? And they just go on there and let them walk. You see, this is insane. And then also too, for what it's worth, Black family. We produced a half-ass show for 3 p.m. No, 3:30 p.m. Today on Blog Talk, and we just wanted to, and this show is calling folks and comment into the chat room because it is a test, and this is why we are calling it the current bullshit of poly tricks.
I think it's gonna be the same time the Arena Uncensored goes live. I'm not 100% sure, but I think Blacc, Sonny, MD are supposed to be doing the Arena at that time, but we'll see.
Okay, and if we can make it happen, we'll do that. But if not, then we'll just dump this episode out anyways, because like I said, as I'm going through here with these tricks right here, okay, select, the down payment, I mean the silver plan, so I'll put in the information, and once again, they saying it's not accepted, and appreciate the brother out there, like I say, don't never share your banking information with these tricks. And then to find out that Spreaker is with these assholes as well, is because when I went to Spreaker to try to import the episodes off of Shabaka's Black Experience in the Spreaker, and they got the same damn address in San Antonio, man, as Blog Talk. So what does that tell you? You see what I'm saying?
They're one and the same. They're in cahoots.
Yeah, but exactly.
Getting back to the whole unity piece. So like I said, we keep hearing, we need to unify. We need to come together. We need to come together. The whole African diaspora.
Right.
I see our Frontline Black News. Shabaka's Black Experience Enhanced. Well, me and Shabaka have different opinions on this, but on our platforms, we say that we need to get on code. We need to get on code. We need to get on collective code.
Right.
Otherwise, it's just a fantasy like Wakanda. So about a year ago, Tariq did a live stream about Pan-Africanism. He was asking the question, is Pan-Africanism dead?
Okay.
So play a little bit of that video, and then we'll give a little critique, and then we'll move on to the next topic.
Okay.
I'll be on here for about 90 minutes because I got a Unity Party meeting at 1 o'clock my time.
Okay, and that is, let me see, that's an hour and a half from now.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, because I'm an hour behind you. And also, too, just want to mention, Brother Che, before you do that, that in Panther Town, they did have a commemorative plaque.
Yeah, for Tupac, yes.
Yeah, for Tupac Shakur. And over there on this photograph that you see is that there's right over there by Lake Merritt, that there's the 580 freeway there in the background, you see. And then the last time I was up there in this area, man, I saw that the black commerce, man, was really down real low. Also,
you were just out there, yeah.
Yes, sir. And then also, too, Brother Che, 2 days ago, I want to mention this here. In 1750, Jean-Baptiste Pointe de Sable was born. He founded the city of Chicago, and they call him the Black Founder of Chicago. Okay, go ahead and continue, brother.
Okay, so this is Tariq Nasheed, and he's asking if Pan-Africanism is dead.
Okay.
Here, ladies and gentlemen. What's going on, family? Glad to have y'all tuning in to Tariq Radio. I am your gracious host, Tariq Nasheed. You know how I do it. Glad to have everybody in here. The voice is still a little shaky, a little bit, but I'm good. I'm good. I'm here with you guys. Sometimes it had a scammy little vibe to it. Even with the American Colonization Society, when they were sending people to Liberia, that was
okay. Here we go.
The Klan.
So he starts off talking about Liberia.
Right.
We had the whole Back to African movement.
Right.
During the time of Martin Delaney and Marcus Garvey. And he's going to break it down on like how that was basically a scam. And a lot of the people that ended up going over there, they were seeking greener pastures and they ended up getting scammed.
Okay. That sounds about right.
He's going to tie it into how the rest of the diaspora isn't holding their end of the deal with this Pan-Africanism.
Okay.
Private letters where he was really disparaging Black people. We're looking out for foundational Black Americans. We ain't really trying to do the whole, we're going to go to Africa. Nobody's really buying into the Wakanda myth that's been sold to us for a long time. Nobody's buying into that now. And now that we're foundational Black Americans are kind of questioning a lot of stuff. There's people now who's questioning Garvey's real allegiance. There were some people, they had a room earlier, they were talking about, well, Garvey was meeting with the Klan. Garvey had private letters where he was really disparaging Black people, calling Black people lazy. So a lot of people are really going back to revisit and study this Pan-African thing and to see if it ever popped off or if it could be viable. The fact is, a lot of times when people came to us, foundational Black Americans, many times talking about linking up with Africa and things like that, a lot of times it had a scammy little vibe to it. Even with the American Colonization Society, when they were sending people to Liberia, that was kind of scammy, you know. They were sending free Blacks over there, and a lot of Blacks were going over there dying, and many Blacks didn't want to go over there because they understood we're not from that part of the world. I mean, we've been here for centuries. A lot of Black people at the time knew that we were foundational. We'd been here for a long time. Even Frederick Douglass spoke out against repatriating or patriating because a lot of us can't even prove where in Africa we came from.
Yes, you
it's
can.
Very speculative. And again,
no, it's not.
No, what he's saying is the nations or kingdoms that existed back then, they don't exist now.
Oh yeah, due to the neo-colonialism. Okay, I stand corrected on that. Okay. All right, and I'm pulling.
There were a lot of Black people who were already here, so it's very hard to really assess who came from where. You understand? Now, let's be very clear. I have a lot of love and respect for brothers and sisters in the diaspora. I still rock with them.
Right.
People think because we are acknowledging our foundational Black American lineage, they think that we are disparaging some of our riders in the diaspora. No, we're not. I still ride with brothers and sisters in Africa, especially in the UK. I rock with brothers and sisters in the Caribbean who are still on code. Right. I rock with whoever's on code. If you're on code for empowerment and against white supremacy, I rock with any Black person. I don't care where you are. If you're from Australia, I rock with you. If you are against systematic white supremacy. And we have to be very clear. A lot of foundational Black Americans have a bad taste in their mouth about Pan-Africanism now because of the representatives that's coming over here now from the Caribbean and from Africa. What they're doing now, they're sending over a lot of coons. Mm-hmm. Right. And the coons are putting a bad taste in everyone's mouth. These are the same Sambos who are undermining people over there.
Yep. That's why Garvey couldn't get nothing started.
Diaspora, they come over here with that same mentality. They come over here with their same insecurities, their colorisms. That's why when we see people on TikTok and Instagram talking about dark skin, light skin, man, 9 times out of 10, it's a non-FBA person talking that. They're bringing that filth over here, trying to infuse us with it.
Man, I spit on that shit to the utmost. Look at a goddamn movie called Imitation of Life.
The same, no matter what your skin tone is. Excuse me. But we're starting to see, unfortunately, a lot of people who come around us off code trying to undermine us. Many of them happen to be non-FBA folks. So a lot of people are kind of looking at the Pan-Africanism thing a little different now. Many people believe that the whole concept is dead. I don't know. But we are looking at our foundational Black American lineage. And let me tell you something. Us looking at our foundational Black American lineage, that is more threatening than Pan-Africanism. Do you understand me? Because we are understanding who we are. We're understanding who we are as a lineage. We're not buying into the Wakanda thing like we used to, because white people have no problem sitting up selling Wakanda to us. They have no problem doing that.
Disney owns that.
They have no
because they know it
problem
doesn't
saying,
exist.
"Hey, man, you guys came from this great civilization thousands of years ago." They have no problem telling us that because they understand it's not popping over there in the diaspora right now. They understand that the white supremacists understand that many of the black people over there in the diaspora, they are doing any and everything to get over here. They know that. So the white society has no problem selling us the Wakanda package. If we just somehow make it back over to Africa, everything is going to be all right. Ain't going to be no racism. That's what they got those artists over here talking about. Remember, what's his name? Rotimi from Nigeria. God. Man, over there, man, everything is just better. The air is just crisp when you get over there. Well, nigga, why are you in New York?
Right.
You understand? That y'all
First,
not selling
I'm not nobody's nigga.
Because y'all selling.
Right. Well, he's just he's just talking. But yeah,
I know.
Saying like, why are y'all keep trying to tell us to go to Africa? But yeah, y'all are trying to get over here. Like y'all doing everything in y'all power to get over here. If it's so cracking in Africa, why are y'all leaving y'all homeland to come over here?
Okay, answer to that there is, Brother Jay, is because, see, they've been hoodwinked and bamboozled as well, too. And what proves this is then with old Bud Abbott down there when he was having horses out there, hitting the Haitians and any other African descendant people, man, with those whips right there. Notice that they
want us to think that didn't happen, Shabaka.
Right.
Our lying eyes, we didn't see that, even though we clearly didn't see that. And there was plenty of video. I think YouTube scrubbed itself of a lot of the video, but I'm pretty sure there's still some video that's still circulating about that. Because I was like, damn, this is so reminiscent of slavery. Like, they treating the Haitians just like slaves. Like,
yeah. Well, of course, and the reason why they're doing that is because the Haitians is the only one that I know of in the Western Hemisphere had used any means necessary, man, to liberate themselves from French rule. You see what I mean?
Right. Okay. And we're the ones that put that battery in their back for them to even do that. Because they were fighting the colonialists over here.
Exactly. You see, like the Gulag Wars, and then down
the Gullah Wars.
Yeah. If I'm saying it properly, and I believe that the Queen Mother is a descendant of one of those, because that there's down there near where she was born at, doing being over here in the diaspora, which was North Carolina, and I think.
And as you remember, Shabaka, during the Black Empowerment era,
yes.
Foundation of Black Americans was responsible for that Immigration Act in 1965 because we said, well, we need more reinforcements. We need more African people of the diaspora because at that time, the U.S. government was not letting in African immigrants like that at all.
Oh, okay. And the reason being, if memory serves me correct, although I was a child, because that's when you had a lot of African nations gaining their independence, man, in the mid 1960s. Mm-hmm. And another individual that we need to do a story on, man, I forgot all about the Burning Spear. That there was the one and only Jomo Kenyatta.
Yeah, we got to go on Jomo Kenyatta.
Yeah, because
one on Kwame Nkrumah.
Right. And then, of course, definitely one on Patrice Lumumba. You see what I'm saying? Because what Kwame Nkrumah wanted to do, from what I understand, that I was rapping with a brother from Ghana many, many years ago. He had stated that what Nkrumah wanted to do was to make Ghana, he wanted to set up the United States of Africa and make Ghana the capital of Africa. You see what I mean? And
but he couldn't do it because there was so much tribalism going on
in
Ghana.
Yes, sir. And then keep in mind, man, is that the U.S. was behind that shit. It was the U.S. It was the Eisenhower and Kennedy administrations that was behind that. Then, of course, LBJ was behind that type of garbage, too. And to prove that point even further is that when Eartha Kitt, and you could pull it up, too, Brother Che. I was a kid when this happened. I know this is before your time, but Eartha Kitt was at the White House, and she had a debate with Lady Bird Johnson about the Vietnam conflict, and Ms. Kitt had got up there and says, well, you guys are talking about the soldiers over there in Vietnam, but what about the black soldiers over there in Vietnam? And they put that sister under all kind of scrutiny and what have you. You know what I'm saying?
Which show was she on?
Okay. Eartha Kitt?
Yeah.
Okay, I don't know if she was on any television series, man, but she did. Oh, wait a minute, I stand corrected. In the mid 1960s, she was the original Catwoman on the
Yeah, she
Batman
was the original
series.
she was the original Catwoman on Batman, but
Right, and she's the one that came out with that saying called "perfect." You know
yeah,
what I
yeah,
mean? And then
yeah.
in the 1950s, she made a song called "Santa Baby" that made a name for her. She is a
Uh-huh.
veteran of the stage, screen, film. You know, very, very multi-talented individual. And she had a one of her friends in Hollywood at the time was a gentleman by the name of Albert Popwell. And Albert Popwell, you know, I don't think he got any major starring roles, but he did play in major films. And Mr. Popwell had told her, well, Eartha, you know, they're going to come down on you. You know what I mean? And Eartha said, yeah, she knew it. So it's kind of like with the heavyweight champion in 1967. Yeah, I know what I'm up against, but I'm doing this here as a matter of moral consciousness. You see what I mean?
Yeah.
And then even Dr. King, you know, he did what he did with moral consciousness, although a lot of us did not.
So was it the video of her denouncing the Vietnam War?
Basically, yeah, you could pull it up. What it is that she was at a luncheon in 1968 that was hosted. It was a women's group or a women's conference, okay, and then Lady Bird
Lady Bird.
Yeah, Lady Bird Johnson. And what had happened was that Eartha Kitt had raised the question up about why is it so disproportionate that you got black GIs, you know, dying on the front lines in the conflict in Vietnam, plus the controversy over Vietnam. Then not to mention the fact that the U.S. Congress never declared war on North Vietnam.
Yeah. Because wasn't Vietnam split up? It's actually two different countries, right?
Yes, sir. You had North Vietnam and you had South Vietnam, and the side that the U.S. was on was South Vietnam, and North Vietnam was communist. Now,
Yeah.
Eisenhower, the predecessor. Yeah. Okay. Now, like you had North and South Korea. Okay. Eisenhower on his exiting speech before Kennedy was sworn in as the president, he was saying, be aware of a military industrial complex. And then on top of it is that they got to contain communism. J. Edgar Hoover at that time that had too much juice, you know what I'm saying? He was saying is that communism is bad, evil, and all that, and we got to suppress it and all that old type of shit. And that's when you had a dude by the name of McCarthy. What was his name? In 1947, that had the House Un-American Activities Committee, where he was shattering people's lives with that in the early 50s. And somebody got up there, I forgot who it was, that went before it and made that dude look like a complete, absolute idiot and whatnot. You see, but what it was is that Miss Kitt had stood out, you know, for the black issues and what have you, and just like so many of the unsung heroes that went down and lost their lives, you know, through the civil rights movement, through the black empowerment movement. Now, what would they say, okay, if they were here today, of these men going around talking about that they're women? What would they say about that?
No, I think they would be utterly disgusted and appalled.
Oh, indeed, absolutely. Of course they will, man. You know, of course they will. And like we always had stated, is that, you know, they got their human rights, they got their civil rights, but then when you get Joshua's up there trying to force this issue and try to go off into the woman's restroom there in the city of Chicago, and, you know, and the sisters over there telling them, no, man, you ain't coming in this restroom. My 12-year-old daughter's got to go in here and use the restroom. You know what I'm saying? And then like Joshua up there talking about, call me by my pronoun. Man, you ain't no woman, cat. You were probably the victim of some type of trauma, man, in your youth or in your childhood that has you twisted like this.
Yeah, well,
But
if you talk to some of them, they'll tell you that. Like,
oh yeah,
they were sexually abused and all kinds of shit.
oh yes, sir, yes, sir, most definitely.
I'm gonna get back to this video and I'm gonna play the Earth.
Absolutely, yes, sir.
It while you're sitting over here, you see, y'all selling us the Akon City package. You remember Akon was selling that?
Yeah,
whole
whatever
Akon
happened to
City
Akon City?
spaceships and sky trains and robots, and we've had enough. We've had enough of the Akon City Wakanda package that they're trying to sell us, because we see what's going on over there is very tribalistic. And then when they get over here, they bring that same tribalism over here to us. You understand? That's the reality. And we're not hating on anybody. We're just speaking the reality.
But the reality, Mr. Nasheed,
now,
that
let me
is
tell you
the
something. When we start looking at our FBA heritage, see, that gets us on code. And us being on code, that is the threat, ladies and gentlemen. Now, if you follow me on social media, you will know today I had yet another visit from the FBI. The FBI came to my home today, this afternoon. What time did they come? They came around noon. They came pretty early. Kind of took me by surprise. So the FBI came to my house today.
Fast forward. Yeah, they had a...
You don't ever show up where somebody else wants you to show up. That's warfare 101. Even organize. Remember last week there was a series of Power 106 protests that was organized by our sister Connie Collins. I didn't organize any of them. But notice that there were so many people, these trolls, trying to lure me and bait me into showing up there. It was this desperate attempt to try to get me to show up to those protests, which was very suspicious. Half the time I was I wasn't even in the continental United States, but I saw it for what it was. I'm like, wait a minute, why are random people desperately trying to lure me into a specific location?
You're talking about that stuff that went down with American Cholo and Mexicans out there in California against the reparations, and then there was some protests that was set up to protest the radio station out there, Power 106.
Okay.
Because they had got exposed for anti-Black hatred, and they were trying to get Tariq to show up to the protest, and when they couldn't get him to show up, they got on Twitter with a bunch of bullshit.
Okay.
I'm just trying to get to the part about the Pan-Africanism being dead part.
Right. Okay. And he's
at a specific time. I understand the 48 laws of power. You don't ever show up where somebody else wants you to show up. That's warfare 101. You bring the people to you. You determine where everything is going to go down. When people try to lure you into a certain situation at a specific time, at a specific location, boy, that's a setup all day.
Facts.
You see? Notice all the people who were trying to lure me and bait me into showing up at a specific time at that radio station for something that I didn't even organize. Trying to use little weak, goofy shaming tactics. Wait, Tariq, are you scared to come through? Tariq sound like he's scared. That type of talk is Agent Talk 101. You ain't fooling nobody.
Right.
Yeah. I saw that for what it was. And also, you had people out there who were fishing for lawsuits. I'm going to get on that a little bit later. Yeah, I'm familiar with the story. And they were like, well, we saw online that he followed your social media about 10
they were
years
trying
ago.
to blame. They was trying to blame. They was trying to blame Tariq and Jason Blacc for old boy that did the bombing in the subway in New York, because it was like, he said that he was listening to Jason Blacc, the Black Authority, and Tariq Nasheed, and they were trying to blame it on the new black media on why he did that. And they sentenced him to like 30 years, and he didn't even kill nobody.
Damn. Okay. So then, we got to set up a defense fund for the brother. You know what I mean? Okay. Yeah. So that's another political prisoner. And the United States says that they was not supposed to have no thing as political prisoners.
Right.
We have a constitutional right to do that. You understand? We have a constitutional right to do that, to shut this stuff down. But see, when we get on code, that gets scary to the dominant society. Yeah, they're trying to bring the sundown towns back because those white numbers are dwindling.
Yeah. And like what happened with Elijah McClain, like that was straight sundown town
Oh
Islam.
yeah. Because I spoke with our brother there, man, in Denver yesterday, man. We talked about that, man, and he did inform me that they let two of them off. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, and that really ticked me off. So this here goes to show people is that you practitioners of this so-called democracy, you're nothing more than hypocrites. When you got punks like DeSantis saying the garbage he does, and we're not going to talk about the dump as in human shit. And I want to make that perfectly clear. You say, but these Uncle Tim Coons, man, it's disgusting. Rami Salami, calling to our platform, man, when we get it back up, man, you know what I'm saying? Because
we got a crumb bum on him too. But
absolutely.
I'm gonna switch gears because we're kind of pressed for time.
So right.
I got this clip from Earth the Kid.
Oh, okay, cool.
In 1968.
That's it.
Many of Americans, people whom I have heard from, their opinion is that what I said was right. They are in back of me 100%. A great many of Americans have told me through their telegrams and letters and phone calls that if they had the chance, they would have done the same thing. In order to tell you what happened, I was invited to the White House by Mrs. Johnson to give what I feel, my opinions on how I feel about juvenile delinquency situation in our country, and how to make our streets safer. After listening to the ladies who gave their opinions on how they feel about juvenile delinquency and the safety of our streets, I raised my hand and I was recognized by the First Lady in order to give my opinions. I felt that these women, those of us who were there, had very good intentions. But I felt that we had missed something during the afternoon. I felt that they were talking about safety of our streets, juvenile delinquency in my country, and how we camouflage it with street lights, better, bigger, brighter street lights, and how maybe we can camouflage it with flowers. I felt, and I still feel, that we do have a terrific problem in our country, but we must recognize that since we do have the problem and we want to rid ourselves of it as best we can, that we must somehow find the core for these problems. And so I gave my opinions after I raised my hand. Now, I was on duty as an American citizen, as I feel I am always on duty as an American citizen. And if I am asked if I have an opinion about what I have been involved with, then I feel I have the right then to cast those opinions. And therefore I ask you, do you think I was rude?
Could you speak a little louder, Ms. Kid, please?
Now I know that you have questions you want to ask of me.
Ms. Kidd,
Yes,
were you invited to the White House as a person or representing the group?
I think I was invited as a citizen.
I think this is
Ms. Kidd, do you
the
plan to
press
go
conference.
to Vietnam?
I'm sorry.
We are now talking
It's
about
the press conference.
making an appearance in Vietnam.
Right. Okay. But there was a clip of her.
I don't know. I haven't heard from the boys over there.
On, I believe it was CBS News, I think,
Yes, I have.
where she was asked about the war in Vietnam, and she had put it out
The letters
there.
have been beautiful.
So
The
many of
telegrams have been beautiful. The
Uh,
calls that I have received at home have been beautiful.
A considerable number?
Yes,
How many would you say you've received?
hundreds.
Can you say what the distribution has been, or most of them in favor of the position you took?
or you might want to put it in your search bar, Brother Che, Eartha Kitt, on the war in Vietnam.
But as I said at the White House,
Yeah, that's what I did.
I
Yeah.
feel
So,
You brought this one up right here.
a great many
Yeah.
Americans
Okay, this is the wrong clip. It's because the clip
are
that they
confused
have is in black and white.
about Vietnam.
okay.
It
That I
hasn't
saw.
been explained as thoroughly as it
Oh,
should
wait a
be as to what our real position is there. And to a great extent, because of this confusion, lack of understanding, lack of communication, they take it out and try to express themselves as best they can by doing something delinquent, maybe.
Can you give us your reasons for why we should or should not be in Vietnam?
I am not a political person. I'm not expert enough to give you a reason as to why we should or should not be in Vietnam. But as I said, I feel the people of my country are confused, and so am I.
Well, yeah, she's damn
What
right
has been
about
your
that.
own personal experience? You
Yeah.
did make the statement at the White House that
Yes.
crime in the streets was, in a sense, an outgrowth of the war in Vietnam. What has been your own experience? What people do you talk to? How do you get the feedback to enable you to say that this is how people do feel?
I have been speaking to and working with the youth of this country for some years now, by talking in schools and having physical, cultural group in places like Watts. And I am in contact with these people. I communicate with these people, and therefore they communicate with me. I ask them questions to find out from them directly
Okay.
what they feel our
For a
problem
moment.
is.
I have to see it. Let the video
What do
play. I
they
have to
say?
step away for a moment.
Just what I've told you.
Were you voicing views of those predominantly in the Negro community?
No, no.
Have you heard from Mrs. Johnson at all?
No, I have not.
Have you heard anything from any of the other ladies who were at the meeting?
No, I have not. Yes.
Your remarks at the White House, were they directed directly to Mrs. Johnson?
My remarks were directed to the ladies at the luncheon, because I think that's what we were there for. The ladies, the women, the mothers, as well as across the nation. We must search ourselves and be much more honest, I feel, with ourselves to what the real problems are.
The luncheon as a whole, did you feel that it touched on anything of vital interest to these mothers, for instance, in Watts, with whom you spent sometime last Saturday at the Stan's class? Did you feel that what went on at the White House was pertinent to these ladies you talked to, these mothers?
Only in the sense that they are Americans, yes. And they are just as interested in my country as I am.
But I mean, was there attempt on your part to relay what they might have said had they been invited to the White House?
But Watts is not the only place that I work. I'm associated with the young ones across the nation.
In your speaking engagements, what would the text be primarily? Vietnam, civil rights, war in the streets, crime in the streets? What have you touched on most in your appearances?
We were there to discuss juvenile delinquency and how we make our streets safer.
No, I mean in your appearances in the various schools that you spoke of earlier. What would your text be in those speeches at the schools? Mostly civil rights, crime in the streets, or do you discuss the Vietnam War?
No, I do not discuss the Vietnam War. I discuss such as what I feel is of an interest to the American youth, what it is that they are unhappy about. And I try as best I can to have them realize that we are living in a free country and we should have much more respect for the fact that we do live in this country.
Some other way then, according to your thought of doing it.
Yes, in that case, I would say, ask the 200 million Americans.
Well, how would you do that? I mean, just to carry it a step further, how would you ask these 200 Americans?
Well, we have votings for presidents or for senators or for congressmen.
Well, then you would suggest perhaps a vote on these issues.
Well, haven't we asked the Vietnamese to vote on what their opinions are about the Vietnamese War? Why can't we do so?
Okay, we'll be back shortly. We'll be back shortly.
I think they voted for a different government.
Whether they did so or not, I think there was a great discussion as to about asking the Vietnamese.
Well, then what it appears to me you're saying is that, yes, it would be a good idea to have a vote in this country about X number of issues. Just take them up to the people. Is that it? What you're saying?
Yes.
Thank you.
Ken, why do you think that your particular remarks that you think were quite tough in the situation caused such a feeling?
I think it's because, obviously, the way, unfortunately, we sell our newspapers. And we use the words such as tirade, and emotional. These are, unfortunately, the things that people grasp without really going into the importance of finding out what is underneath that headline.
Do you think the actual incident was blown out of proportion?
Yes, I do.
Motivations were correct, though.
I haven't read the papers.
Well, how do you know?
I saw the headlines.
Very important.
Yes.
How many other Negro ladies were there?
I don't really recall. I wasn't looking at them in terms of how many colored, white, or pink or green ones were there. I was looking at them as 50 representatives of my country.
Did you recognize any at all? Did you know any of them? Were there any black faces there at all?
Yes, yes, there were. Yes.
And you said children had started taking to pot, not children, but those who are in the draft age were taking to pot because of their fear of going into the war. Now, can you accurately suggest that this is the pervading view among those who you talk to? Work with?
I wouldn't say that they take part because they are afraid of going into the Vietnamese War any more than you would take a glass of whiskey in order to stay out of the Vietnamese War. We're talking about juvenile delinquency, and since this happens to be one of the important things among the juvenile delinquency people, I think that pot is one of the things that they do in order to pacify themselves, in order to run away from reality.
So you think, but among those you talk to, this is their views among those you work with in the community?
No, they have not connected to pot with the fact that they want to stay out of the war. I'm only saying that this is one of the problems that we have among the juvenile delinquents. And it's one of the things seems to be because of their dissatisfaction. It's like many of us we have a problem, we don't know how to solve it, we don't know the real reasons behind these problems. Therefore, I need something in order to console myself.
Ms. Kidd, I'd like to pursue briefly a point you made previously. You said that the American people don't understand this war. Now, do you think it's just a problem in communication, or is there something different about the war itself that you think perhaps cannot be explained satisfactorily?
Well, there must be something different about the war that can't be explained properly. Otherwise, I think it would have been explained.
Now, when you went to the White House, did you have in mind to say what you did, or was this a spontaneous result of the conversation that took place that made you feel that you wanted to say that?
It was spontaneous. And as I said what was in my heart, and what I felt is getting away what the afternoon was getting away from the real issues, the real point of why we were there.
You didn't choose this special occasion because you thought you would have more weight when you said it in the White House instead of if you said it to anyone in an interview?
I have said these same things to interviewers. Yes, I have said them before. Just happens that because it was considered ill-mannered and whatever it was that was said, that this is the thing that says why I chose that particular spot to do so, I guess.
Ms. Kidd, after your remarks, was there an overwhelming ovation or overwhelming intention among the other women or everybody present?
I think I can only tell you how I felt. And I felt that after the truth was heard, that they suddenly realized what the afternoon should have been about.
Have you given any thought to apologizing to the president's wife?
Well, since I don't feel I have done anything wrong, I don't.
In her own voice, the angry voice of dissent was raised and obscured the purposes that she feels defeated. You were there at her invitation. She is the president's wife. You haven't given any thought to apologize.
No, I haven't done anything wrong. Yes.
Cynthia, what were your personal feelings, reactions, when you became the first person in history to publicly bring tears to the eyes of the First Lady of America?
What was my... No, they don't put words into my mouth. I put words into theirs.
Right.
But I feel that... I feel that I didn't know what I had done. All I said was what I felt. And I do feel that she is the First Lady of my country. I have the greatest respect in the world for her position, as I have tremendous respect for the position of the president. And she's a mother the same as I am. I can understand why she would be emotional, yes.
Would you say a great hush followed your remark? Is it very, very
Yes, I would say that.
Ms. Kitt, what would be your alternative proposal to that juvenile delinquency, other than those already being what would you like?
I'd like to see the youth of my country more involved with, with lawmaking, with what they feel is going to make them happier people. They want to get involved, but there seems to be a tremendous lack of communication between those of us who are grown ups and called adults and those who are still considered young.
Ms. Kitt, it's
Yes.
highly very surprised to be heard for the last 50 minutes.
Yes.
Something that sometime captured answer because I was a little bit late. When were you standing up when you made your little speech, or were you sitting down?
I was standing up, yes.
You were standing.
Yes.
So sometimes when you're standing, the motivation, physical motivation, has a little bit more force. And when you're sitting down, and it might have even given more impetus to your words than if you sat down and said them. But did anybody ever suggest there were tears in the president's wife's eyes? Was that it?
Yes. Yes.
Did anyone ever suggest that the tears might have touched her? Not annoyed her, but touched her half of what you said. Did anybody ever think that might have been the reason for the tears?
Yes, and I said that. And this is what I still feel, yes. I felt that she was touched by what I said.
It wasn't brought out in the newspaper, but I had a feeling at the time knowing you. It just sort of touched her, you see, the tears came automatically. And I don't think anyone should censor you for that. I think it's rather a wonderful thing to do.
Thank you very much. Yes.
Shabaka, are you there?
Yes, sir. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, because I switched to the Bluetooth again. Because believe it or not, man, I was running to get me a cup of coffee, but I did not sit at a lunch counter and beg for it.
Right. So what she just said, it looked like
Okay,
there was trying to interrogate her. That shit was kind of irritating.
No, that's exactly what they were doing, Brother Chase, because you have to keep in mind at that time you had J. Edgar Hoover, you know, with his clandestine operations and his illegal tactics and stuff.
It's hard to hear you, Shabaka. You're too far away from the microphone.
Okay, all right, hold on. Okay, what about now? Am I sounding any better?
You sounded like you're closer, but
Okay, what about now?
much better.
Okay, all righty. Yeah, because I was up here stirring me, a cup of coffee to wake up. Okay, but the thing is about Eartha Kitt, she was very well renowned. I believe she spoke about 4 or 5 languages, and she was most definitely proud to be Black, you know what I mean? And she was a playwright, singer, songstress, actress, you know what I'm saying? She was very, very versatile in Hollywood, at that time, and particularly in that rough era, during the Black empowerment era, civil rights movement, what have you. Okay. And I do not think that she was a bad wench.
Nah.
Yeah, I do not think that. Yeah, you say, and on that, she was very similar to what the heavyweight champion had did at that time.
Yeah.
Because
it says Kitt was asked by First Lady Lady Bird Johnson about the Vietnam War. She replied, "You sent the best of this country off to be shot and maimed. No wonder the kids rebel and take pot." During a question and answer, Kitt stated, "The children of America are not rebelling for no reason. They are not here for no reason at all. We don't have what we have on Sunset Boulevard for no reason. They are against something. There are so many things burning the people of this country, particularly mothers. They feel they are going to raise sons, and I know what it's like. And you have children of your own, Miss Johnson, and we raise children and send them to war."
Exactly. And then keep in mind here too, and I'm saying this here for the generations after me, the United States Congress never officially declared war on North Vietnam. And that was another problem with it. Okay, it's because, of course, we know about Pearl Harbor when Franklin Roosevelt gave his speech, "Live long in infamy," and the Congress gave him the war powers to launch the war against Japan.
Yep.
Also, too, when 9/11 went down, what's that there, 2001, the Congress did, in fact, give Baby Bush, the power, to declare war. To declare war on it. You see what I'm saying? But the thing is, though, is that they are always putting us out there on the front lines for their causes. But then when we speak of our causes, oh, you guys are black racists. You guys are this phobic and that phobic and all that.
And all that dumb shit. And it's like, we done fought every war this country that ever had.
Yes, sir. You're absolutely correct. And I've had family members that fought in these wars as well, too. And then when you get the Joe Gibsons, ass scratchers like Bianchi, stuff like that, okay, they're misinterpreted. They're not misinterpreted. They are deliberately turning their attention away from serious, hard facts that are going on in the black community that, as you so well put it, that are the victims of racist white supremacy. You see what I mean? Because this all-inclusive stuff is a joke. Okay, now we don't hate nobody, but we just don't hate ourselves. You see, the way the American mainstream society wants us to hate ourselves. Men folk going out here showing the crack of their ass with their pants, and women folks out here with this ratchet behavior, want to go out and bed winch and all this old type of shit, talking about this is progress, and it's counter progress is what it is.
Right. So it seems like, we're still dealing with the same issues we were dealing with in 1968, Shabaka.
Oh, yes, sir. Most definitely. And then particularly, man, with these police killings, and these cops are getting off scot-free. You see, now that's what adds a further insult to the injury. And then, of course, too, as you know, when a certain organization started in 1966, following the laws of the U.S. Constitution, the Second Amendment, and we got the right to protect ourselves from these police murders, you see. But you got too many of these effeminized Negroes talking about they want to identify as women like your Joshua and what have you. You see what I mean? Which is a huge detriment. Then they want to kick kids out of from any background out of public school when they say that there's only two genders. You see, male and female. Now, and as we've stated before on our platform and on our podcast, that, hey, if you dudes want to go out there and wear women's clothes, man, and put on fingernails and makeup and wigs and all that, hey, man, that's your business. But there is nowhere in hell I am going to view you as a bona fide woman. Is because you cannot menstruate. You cannot ovulate, and you cannot bear children. You see, so what that is an insult to my fucking intelligence. And then on top of that, there too, what I'm really going to start emphasizing is this is a direct assault on the concept of womanhood itself.
Right, and they were trying to go after Aretha Franklin for a natural born woman. These people are, but I got to say,
now
we're really running short on time, so.
Okay. I just wanted to say two things about Aretha Franklin, less than 15 seconds. Okay. The first thing, that woman that who wrote the song called The Natural Woman was written by a white woman by the name of Carole King. And she went to Aretha Franklin to record it. Number one. And then that there too is that you did have a few whites that did write some of these quote unquote R&B hits, is because they could not express the soul part of the music. You see what I mean? And once again, that there comes from our ancestral land, of our spirituality.
Another thing about that is we couldn't perform in certain venues, so they had white performers perform in our place. And,
facts.
Switching gears, we got this migrant crisis situation going on.
Yes, sir.
In cities such as in Denver, Chicago, New York. So the people of Chicago, shout out to them. Shout out to the Black FBA family out in Chicago for standing up against this. They demand that the city end the sanctuary city policies. And,
okay.
I wholeheartedly agree with that because
okay, most definitely.
First of all, where the hell is Black Sanctuary? Second of all, how the hell are these mothers taking precedent over actual citizens?
Right, and then not to mention the fact that Chicago was discovered by a Black man, and so just on the basis of that point right there, we should be running it.
Right. So, Professor Black Truth did an awesome piece on this. So I'm gonna let that play. It says, "Why Black people aren't supporting sanctuary cities."
Okay, let's hear from the professor.
We need to take some time to ask and reiterate a crucial question that the white media prefers we not discuss. What good has immigration done for Black Americans? I mean, those of us who came out of slavery in the U.S. What benefit have we ever derived from immigration? Since we are indigenous to this land, we didn't have the benefit of more of our group being brought here, as every other group of immigrants and invaders has had. Starting with European immigration like the Irish, who came here and then began waging a series of racial conflicts against us, starting with the draft riots. Followed by the Chinese, Italians, Greeks, Jews, Southeast Asians, the Indians, and Hispanics. Many groups have come to the United States because we kicked the doors open for them. But the part that the white media shies away from talking about is that in so many of these cases, we have a number of immigrants who have come from countries where they practice a culture of anti-Black racism. And in a disproportionate number of cases, we've seen these immigrants bring that exact same anti-Black racism to the U.S. When Peter Lyang killed Akai Gurley in cold blood, he received massive support from his community. We also saw this with the racist Latino members of the LA City Council earlier this year. This year, we've seen massive influxes of illegal aliens. We've seen the government say that basically there's nothing they can do about it. And as a result, a lot of cities have decided, hey, let's go ahead and bring them in because we think that politically it's going to be useful. Black residents in Chicago and New York, however, have been taking a stand against this policy because they have watched as over the last several decades, the U.S. government has spent untold hundreds of millions, if not billions of dollars to bring people here from abroad, to give them immediate access to government programs and place them in Black neighborhoods, which helps them to set up their businesses, which are propped up by the Black community's dollars. And these groups, Black activists, made it possible for them to come here. And it was specifically Black political activism that has given all of these immigrant groups every single one of the rights that they take for granted, from the right to vote to the ability to live where they wish and have the jobs that they want and be able to go to schools. They did not make that happen. It was already in place long before any of them got here. And it was accomplished by Black people alone. These groups have lived in Black neighborhoods initially, and they've gone to school with Black classmates, and their businesses depend on Black dollars. And yet, in a disproportionate number of cases, they have shown open disdain and contempt for the very Black people who gave them the opportunities that they have. We've seen this go on nonstop, and it's been going on for decades. You have cities run by Democrats where they have made it where illegal aliens are allowed to vote in local elections. The Black community has put it out for many years that this dilutes and undermines the ability of Black residents to get the resources that we need. We also point out the blatant hypocrisy of these politicians telling us that there's no money for us for anything. And yet when other groups come in, people who aren't even citizens, they instantaneously find the money, find the resources, and say, oh, we know exactly what to do. And they don't need a study. They don't need to have any sort of commissions, no years-long investigations. Oh, we got to have some academics come in and give their opinions about it. They do it instantaneously. And it's not just the Democrats. I told you about how the newly elected Republican governor of Louisiana was involved in a scandal regarding illegal aliens who one of his business associates brought to the U.S. to work on one of the governor's business projects. And no matter what the politicians may say, all you have to do is look at what they actually do. And you see that these politicians understand immigration to be used as a political tool. And it's been this way from the very beginning. Today, immigration is used as a political counter lever to the pressure Black people have been putting on white power. This is about finding a political solution to the challenges that Black people have been bringing to white supremacy. They need individuals who are not white and yet who will claim that they are not being discriminated against, so that the dominant society can point to them and say, see, here's some people here who say there's no racism, so you Black people need to pipe down. Individuals and groups who make common cause with the white power structure. And this is the pattern that has played itself out for a very long time. People who come here and their descendants will make the argument that they weren't slave owners and why they weren't even here when slavery was going on, so they don't owe reparations. That's a
Joe
lie.
Gibson,
First of all, they've been the beneficiaries of that system of slavery. It created the massive wealth that they flocked here to get a piece of. Without Black Americans to build this country, the United States would have turned out like South America or Haiti. See, people love to brag that there were more Africans enslaved in South America and the islands than in the U.S. Okay, if there's nothing special about us, then why is it that none of those other places ever became what the U.S. became?
Right.
Superior numbers should have yielded superior results, right? But they didn't. Not to disrespect the rest of the global family, but those of us who are here in what would become the U.S., we are a peculiar people. I mean that word in the biblical sense of the term. The white supremacists will use the talking point that there was slavery all over the world. First of all, that's not factually accurate, but for the sake of argument, let's go ahead and say that it was. Nowhere else in the world did any system of slavery produce the United States. Right. Nowhere else even came close. So we made something possible that other groups couldn't. Certainly not in their own lands. Secondly, and I've used this analogy numerous times, when someone immigrates, what they're doing is they're moving into somebody else's house, a house that they didn't build. Now, when you go looking for a house to move into and you see one that's bigger than the others on the block, it's got more bedrooms, an outdoor pool, and all kinds of nice amenities. If that house also has a ton of outstanding liens, you become responsible for that debt too if you choose to live there. And if you feel that you shouldn't have to pay someone else's pre-existing debts, then you need to find a place that doesn't have any of those issues, because this house does.
Right.
We never see these immigrants or anyone else trying to use the "I wasn't directly responsible" deflection when dealing with any other issue in any other country. I, as a Black man, can't immigrate to Germany and then tell them I didn't have anything to do with the Holocaust. I came here after that was all over, so I don't owe any reparations for the Jews, and I don't want my tax dollars going to that. I couldn't do that. Germany has a historical debt as a nation. No immigrant who ever came to Germany, not even the Muslim ones, would dare say that they had nothing to do with the Holocaust, and hence their tax dollars shouldn't have to go to pay Germany's debts. See, when they're in other countries, they don't try that game. Same way they didn't try here in the U.S. with the Native Americans or the Japanese reparations. They knew the white media and the government were in favor of those things, and they also know the white media and the government are vehemently opposed to reparations for us. So this emboldens all these other groups to feel that they've got full approbation and support from the dominant society to oppose it. Because assimilation in this country means to support and to fight to maintain the racial pecking order. These other groups have never been subjected anything close to the endless campaign of oppression that we have, and having their communities repeatedly destroyed, first by white mobs at the turn of the 20th century, and every day since then, we've had our communities ransacked by white governmental agencies and business interests. Black neighborhoods have been continually attacked nonstop by local, state, and even the federal government in the form of highways, so-called public works projects, schools and universities, any old excuse to run bulldozers straight through where we live. And they give the green light to so-called developers who want to take over where we live and build housing that isn't meant for us, strip malls that they're not meaning for us, anything to move us out of there. We are a people who have been kept completely on the move, constantly. We never get to put down roots and build anything before here comes the next project. We're constantly targeted. Nobody else is subjected to that.
Right.
And yet you'll have these other people who come here and they'll claim, why? Nobody's ever done anything to you Black people. This is the political purpose that immigration serves under white supremacy. A buffer group who will echo the exact same anti-Black sentiments as the dominant society. You see, things that affect Black people are like truth serum. Everyone's forced to declare where they stand, and that even includes the Black misleadership class. They went to the mat for immigrants, but they do nothing for us. Look at Los Angeles as a good example. You got Karen Bass out there. This woman hasn't done anything for Black people in the past and isn't doing anything now. And if you're asked about it, you'll have some empty-headed moron who'll say, well, Black folks ain't but 6% of the population out there in LA. What'd you expect from her? Now, if you had an Asian or a Hispanic who was the mayor of, say, Detroit or Philadelphia or any other city where these groups are no more than 6% of the population, do you think that they wouldn't be representing their group's interest? So you see, this isn't a numbers game. This is a designated sellout game, tools doing what their masters wanted. because you got all these black leaders. They're in cities where black people are the majority, and yet they never seem able to do anything for black people, though they'll be tripping over their shoelaces to do things for everybody except us. Yep. Since black people have been defined as being on the bottom in this racial pecking order, this incentivizes other groups, even the non-black ones and a few of the ones who are black, to fight to maintain the racial hierarchy, because they know even if they're not at the top, their floor is still someone else's ceiling. As long as the racial pyramid remains standing, they know they'll never be at the bottom because that's been reserved for black people. So that's why you don't see black Americans supporting sanctuary cities or any of these other measures. These immigrants have not been friendly towards us, to say the least. And the immigration policy has been used as a political weapon to undermine us. Yep. People don't like hearing this because it threatens the system of goodies, giveaways, and guarantees that the racial pyramid has given to everyone else. You can see by how easily and quickly other groups immediately join in to maintain the system that this is no coincidence. Now, when they think that white power isn't going to cut them a break, or when they see white power has its foot up their behinds, all of a sudden they claim we're all in this together and we're all minorities. If they're non-white, that's what they claim. And if they're white immigrants, then they claim that we're all victims of a class war, which is beyond stupid to say to a black person. Class struggle is irrelevant to our condition.
Right.
And both the non-white and the white groups say that everybody's an immigrant here. No, we're not.
Right.
We were not immigrants. We were brought here in chains as prisoners, and in many cases, a lot of us were already here beforehand. Immigration is a choice. A prisoner cannot migrate. They are merely moved. And someone who is native to a land cannot be an immigrant because they didn't come from somewhere else. Black people have been trying to form racial alliances with everybody since the beginning of time. And all of these black fill-in-the-blank alliances have never worked because that would require having someone who wants to be your ally. As Mr. Harvey says, this country was populated by thieves, slaves, and opportunists. That is the dynamic that defines the immigration issue in the United States. That is the inescapable truth that nobody wants to talk about. So to black people in this country, I say, do not run from your exceptional status. Embrace it. That's what makes us different from everyone else. No matter what, whether it be our principles or the ground we stand on. We are not going anywhere.
Right.
Good day and be one. I'd like to take a moment to mention some of our contributors. Anthony Pollard, Johnny J. Martin, Norma Anthony, Miss Incognito, and Rashad Marsh. Salute to them and thank you to everyone for listening, liking, and sharing this message. Black empowerment only exists because of you. Family and...
Right. All right.
Okay, well... Yes, sir. Everything that the professor said, holds a lot of water, although there are a couple of things that I disagree with the professor on. And what we're going to do, ladies and gentlemen, is that we have a half-ass episode scheduled for 3:30 this afternoon of Shabaka's Black Experience Enhanced. The link will be posted up there on the wall. And we're going to go on for about, I think, 30 minutes is what they're giving us. And if we don't get any callers, we're going to scrub the episode until we get to the bottom of the situation of what that we're having over there with Blog Talk.
And that's 3:30 Pacific time?
Yes, sir. And I think I did tag you in it, Brother Paris, so it should be up there, on your wall as well, too. Okay, and so we're going to stay on the helmet, at Blog Talk Radio and Spreaker, since they're one of the same. And if there's anybody out there with some legal knowledge, man, please call into the show or inbox us here on the like page of Shabaka's Black Experience Enhanced. You know what I mean? If we can get the case handled pro bono, that'd be good, for some attorneys out there want to do it for the common good. If there's an attorney out there that wants to take the case and file a lawsuit, we'd be more than happy to give you so much of the lawsuit, after it is settled. Okay, but it is definitely censorship. Also, too, they've been paid and whatnot, but they weren't delivering the service that they had promised. So that's why they quit getting paid, you see, because there's an old saying, the customer is always right,
Right.
you know, and you know, for our haters out there, we know that you hate us. It's the truth that you hate, but we do not hate you. If anything, we feel sorry for you. Now, you RWSs, we glad to upset you. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah, we're more than happy to upset you. It's because you individuals, man, are going off half-cocked and insane and thinking that you all superior and all that. But like I says, bring your RWS ass out here to Las Vegas, say June the 20th of 2024. You know, there should be a whole bunch of primary elections going on at that time, and it's a presidential race, you know.
Yeah.
But you got to leave your sunscreen at home, okay? Yeah, you have to leave that at home. You see what I'm saying? Bring you some water, you know what I mean, and what have you. Sit out in the sun. Oh, yes, sir.
Yeah. So Shabaka, I gotta move us along because we only got time for one more topic, and that is Daniel Cameron lost his government. He lost his gubernatorial race in Kentucky, and this is
okay.
was responsible for getting the killers of Breonna Taylor off.
Oh man, glad he lost.
Shalom, family. I thought I would start your day out real good once again. So I woke up early, and about 5 a.m, I got an email that Daniel Cameron lost the governor's race. Now, y'all know yesterday was
Great
election
news.
day
Love it.
in
Love it.
several different states. My state was one of those states. And I'm kind of glad I got this because I forgot about Daniel Cameron there for a moment. But I did read something about a week ago that he was getting tired on the campaign trail because everywhere he went, people were bringing up Breonna Taylor, and it was getting to him towards the end, you know, because he had been campaigning for about a year. And everywhere this man went, every single place he went, it was brought up. Breonna Taylor. So he was cracking towards the end because he kept seeing it over and over. And I said, that serves him right. I hope for the rest of his breathing days on this earth, everywhere he goes, someone brings up Breonna Taylor.
Yes.
Because what he did to her was wrong. To this very day, Breonna Taylor still never got her due process because of Daniel Cameron.
Yep.
And at this point, y'all, it may take waiting for the election of another attorney general for Kentucky for her to get that day, because it is very clear Daniel Cameron is not going to let Breonna Taylor's case go before a jury.
Oh.
And he has blocked it all the way up until this time. He will not let her have it. Now, he did put some of those cops on trial, but it was for other things like her neighbor's apartment getting shot above her, but not specifically for Breonna Taylor. So, yeah, you know how it is. I just had to be disrupted, right? All right, so
on a trial.
Let's get to it, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get to the
Hopefully
story.
he gets convicted for murder in the first or special circumstance.
To you in the morning, and I sure hope it makes your day. All right. So Daniel Cameron ran against the sitting governor, Andy Beshear. And of course, he just won his second term, and he fends off Daniel Cameron, the current attorney general for Kentucky. So Andy Beshear wins his second term this past Tuesday, fending off Daniel Cameron, the Republican Commonwealth Attorney General, Daniel Cameron, who have been the bluegrass state's first ever Black governor if he had a one. And I'm glad. And y'all, they said 87% of the vote in Bashir led Cameron by 5 percentage points. So more than 62,000 votes out of 1.2 million votes that were cast.
Wow.
So the race had been closely watched and it was real popular, you know. And unfortunately, I wish it was a landslide.
Right.
For Andy Bashir, but I'll take the fact that this man won over Daniel Cameron, who definitely did not deserve anything.
Right.
And y'all, this is what happens when people come together when they see an injustice happening. And many people saw it. That's why everywhere this man spoke in the state of Kentucky, he was met with Breonna Taylor protests.
Good.
So it didn't matter what county or what part of the state he went to, he was met with that. And that's good. That serves him right. I don't feel bad for Daniel Cameron.
Not at all.
None whatsoever.
So they said that this was one of the most closely watched states in the country. I mean, elections in the country, this one. So they called Daniel Cameron a rising star, but now you can call him a failing star. On the Republican side, Cameron had been the state's comparable GOP machine at his back, along with the endorsement of Trump. Yes, I do remember Donald Trump endorsed him. But then again, y'all remember when Donald Trump was in office, Daniel Cameron, you know, was one of the attorneys that he grabbed when he was trying to fight the election. And plus, if you go online, there's pictures of Daniel Cameron being up at the White House with Donald
he got
Trump.
Trump's endorsement.
That should not be shocking that Trump endorsed him. And, you know, in fact, Trump on his social media platform, Truth Social, had went out on Tuesday and he urged people to cast a vote for Daniel Cameron for governor. I guess even Donald Trump's endorsement could not help Daniel Cameron. Good. All right. So Daniel Cameron on the issue, you know, the A issue, you know, Roe v. Wade, he was backing that there's a ban on that in his state. That's what he also ran on, with the exception of rape and incest. Bashir largely concentrated on economic record and Kentucky achieving to its lowest unemployment rate in history. So that's what Bashir had focused on the campaign trail. While Daniel Cameron ripped Bashir for his more liberal maneuvers as governor, such as vetoing legislation prohibiting transgender women from playing on sports teams. So this is what Daniel Cameron went after. Well, okay, whatever. And Bashir, he also vetoed a bill that so-called gender affirmation care for children. So he banned that. Well, it looks like no matter what Daniel Cameron ran on, he lost. I guess all those butter biscuits that he's been stacking up just didn't pay off at all at the end of the day. So he is still, unfortunately, the Attorney General for Kentucky, but he certainly will not be governor. How you doing, LVZ? I'm gonna have to come over to your live and hear what you got to say about this. But yes, May the name Breonna Taylor live on.
Yes.
May it live on. May Daniel Cameron, when he gets into his 70s and 80s, I hope everybody that he's living around will constantly say Breonna Taylor's name every time they see him.
Yes.
I want that mess to haunt him for the rest of his
life.
days, y'all.
Yep.
I really, truly do. You know, this may not be the justice that we want, but it sure feels good that Daniel Cameron did not prevail in his bid for governor.
Yes.
That's all I got to say on this one, y'all.
Right.
So, everybody, I hope I made your day by doing.
All right, sister. Yeah, with that scrub losing, that did make my day. You know what I'm saying? And fools like them should always lose. You see, it's because they're set up there. They murdered that woman in her bed in the privacy of her own home. Okay, so she was with her husband, fiance, man, friend, whatever. So the people are busting down the door. So, you know, he did what he was supposed to do, is that he retrieved something to protect himself with going up against this intrusion. And so, and from what I understand, and please correct me if I'm wrong, and what you could do, you could go to our comments section on that, and then you can go to it when we post this video up there on YouTube. Now, I'm sorry, not YouTube, but social media in general. Correct me if I'm wrong. They're in the bed sleep. Okay. Door gets kicked wide open. Okay. They did not announce themselves. Okay.
Yep, so no knock warrant.
Okay. And then he went on there and defended the household of which he was in, which any man would do. They murdered this woman in the bed. And then to find out, folks, you say they had the wrong
they had the wrong house.
Now that's the irony right there. You see, now with them having a wrong address, that throws everything out the window right there. They say you wasn't even supposed to be at this place. So, of course, there's a lawsuit. And this is why those individuals should have been charged with murder in the first degree.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? As opposed to the, as opposed to the second and the third. And the commander or whoever was down there at the police department that gave the okay for that, his ass would be sitting in the hot seat also.
Right.
For dereliction of duty that resulted in an unlawful death. Now, I don't know how they do laws there in the great state of Kentucky, but however, it is what it is, Black family. So therefore, Uncle Tim Scott, with your stymie-looking, buck-toothed, ass-scratching ass, okay, is that what you need to do, Kat, is some better research. And then a lot of you senators and elected officials have law degrees anyway. And so I don't understand why, Uncle Tim Scott, you're not on it with your stymie-looking ass off of little rascals or whatever that jigaboo shit was they was doing in Hollywood in the 1930s. Rami Salami. What you need to do, what you need to do, Rami Salami, Rami Vizik, or whatever, when it comes to Black people's issues here in the United States of America, you simply need to shut the fuck up because you don't know what you're talking about. It ain't your experience. You come from a caste system where they would look down on Black people, lower than dirt. Then to find out that Gandhi, who was an avid racist against Black people as well too, because Gandhi had stated that when he had went over there to South Africa, strike that, when he was in Azania, starting his nonviolent stuff in 1915, that there was for the benefit of people from the nation of India and not the indigenous people of Azania. Rather, they were Xhosa, Zulu, Sutu, and what have you. It's Azania is the proper name. And just like Miriam Makeba has said, may Mama Africa rest in peace. She says, you know, the white man will come there with his nonsense, with his garbage, saying he discovered a place that had already been there.
Right.
And says that it has no tradition. And as Miriam Makeba had stated, that what they would do is that they would translate the history orally down from generation to generation. And I believe in some African societies, these individuals were referred to as griots, and that there was his function over the course of his lifetime to get all the historical facts together and whatnot. Okay, so he would make the announcement that I'm about to state the history, and he would be out there, from what I understand, Brother Che, anywhere from 36 to 72 hours, nonstop, mind you, reciting the history. So this is like every bit, man, of a day and a half to 3 days, okay? And he would not repeat himself one time. Now, individuals that hate and despise us, Joe Gibson, Bianchi, what have you, they'll sit up there, try to cut us off on when we was relating this information on our podcast, and we simply mute them out and get the facts out there correct. And then we'll go to Joe Gibson, and he'll come up there, man, with his nonsense, and whatnot.
If y'all live in North Carolina, do not vote for Joe Gibson.
Okay, great, beautiful. It's because unless he's issuing some reparations for Black folks in that state, or even advocates for it, or does not advocate for it, don't vote for him. You see what I mean? And no, people, we are not the same. Okay, we are not the same. So get that. Yes,
the Democrats are urging Biden not to run for re-election.
Oh Lord. Okay. All right. Well, I could see their reasoning behind that. So then that means is that they want Kamala to run for. Now, is there anybody on the
don't stand a chance? They're trying to put so there's hints that Meacham, what the hell is this goddamn name? The one that kept doing the filibuster.
You talking about Ted Cruz?
No, not Ted Cruz, the Democrat. I think he's out of Kentucky too. Meacham. I think his name is Meacham.
Okay.
The one that kept doing the filibuster.
Okay. And then
he might run, and then your boy Gavin Newsom. They're really hinting at him running for president on the Democratic ticket.
Okay, he won't make it. Okay, Gruesome Newsom won't make it. I'm gonna tell you that right now, okay? And because that's Nancy Pelosi's nephew, so of course he would have political connections. Plus, Gruesome Newsom, has some character issues, man, in his background. And like I said, he was the campaign manager for a friend of his who was running for mayor of San Francisco years ago before he became the governor of California. And he went on and had an extramarital affair with his friend's wife. And a scrub like that and a bum like that and a snake in the grass like that, man, ain't worth 2 cents.
Right.
See,
and then he set that whole commission up for reparations that was doomed to fail from the very beginning.
Oh, absolutely. And then the buster comes out and says, oh, no, I'm against reparations and all that. So that was a farce. That was a scam.
And then when he got that pressure, he switched up and said, oh, I'll reconsider it.
Yeah, exactly. You see, and what it is, Black family, let's look at what these other groups did, to get what they felt was justice for them. They used economical power. They used political power. You see what I'm saying? They had strategic power, you see. But with us on a collective Black family, we don't have these elements. It's because it's been designed to countermand our progress. On that has also been designed to countermand our progress through even implementing and developing some type of idea. Okay, now just as with the professor was saying right there, yeah, we were brought here through our slave labor. We built up the United States of America, but I have a lot of evidence to prove that we're not indigenous to this land, and also that there are those who say that we are. And the basis of my argument on that, and you and I, Brother Che, we will discuss this, one day, after we get notes together and all that, is that with myself have traveling through all the Western United States, Nevada, California, Oregon, Washington, Idaho, Montana, and a few other places. When I saw indigenous women, or who they commonly refer to as the American Indian, I did not see the curvature And those women, as you
You're
will
talking about the
see,
ones out west, Shabaka, but the ones that there was Native Americans in the southeast United States as well.
okay, which would be Florida, which would be the Seminoles, the Carolinas, and whatnot. Okay, so you could perhaps drop some knowledge on that. And then, not to mention, man, we did circumnavigate the globe, a whole probably about 4 or 5 centuries before that drunken bastard by the name of Columbus with his stinking ass that made a wrong
Set foot in
turn.
the United States. We remember we got into it with Joe Gibson about that because he was like, "That's not true. That's not true." And it's like, yes, it is true. He never set foot in the United States. He set foot in now Hispaniola, or was at that time Hispaniola. Now it's Dominican Republic and Haiti.
Right. Okay. And what have you. Okay. And then too, not to mention the fact that he's very, very selective about, what he wants to talk about and acknowledge. And he does not want to recognize, the achievements that the Black man had created ever since the ancient times of building the pyramids, of astronomy, agriculture. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Embalming the dead, the sciences. You see what I mean? And then Gibson want to come up there with the Greeks. No, man, them dudes was nothing but a bunch of practicing homosexuals and plagiarizers. Period. Now, if they want to do with each other, man, that's their business. But you're not going to sit up there and come and tell me that some unclean savage is going to tell us how to build pyramids and develop our sciences. You see, just like Sister Mary McKeeba says, well, we didn't exist until Europeans discovered us, which is absolutely ridiculous.
Right. All right, Shabaka, let the people know where they can find you.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so very, very much for tuning in with Grand Rising with Shabaka. Okay, it's because we're in the process of going through some issues, to getting our podcast back up. But Shabaka's Black Experience Enhanced is a division of Frontline Black News. We came to you from Sin City, Las Vegas, Nevada this morning. Brother Che is up there in the Mile High City. Okay. Which is 5280 above sea level and what have you. And then he's up there wearing that hat, man.
Of course, man. This is Bronco country.
Man.
For a whole nother time. So, we got to end the show out, unfortunately, because I got to be at 1 o'clock. So,
yes, sir.
Mountain Standard Time. So, check us out tomorrow for Frontline Black News.
Yes, sir.
Season 3, episode 32, part 1.
Right. Okay.
Make sure you like and subscribe to all our platforms, Frontline Black News on YouTube and Facebook. Shabaka Experience Enhanced on Facebook and on Blog Talk Radio. The Revolutionary Agenda on YouTube and Facebook. Lady Che wasn't able to join us this morning. She had to go to a doctor's appointment, so we're going to keep her in our thoughts and prayers, no doubt. And
yes, sir.
Be dropping an RBA when she gets back from the doctor. So
and then also too, I myself, I have a couple of medical appointments to make, this coming Monday and Tuesday myself. Okay, so we might not be doing Shabaka's Black Experience Enhanced on Tuesday, but if your schedule permits, Brother Che, please host it if you can. If you cannot, that's why we're making the announcement right now, is because we do got some issues going on, with our platform over there. They probably got a bunch of hate mail on us and stuff like that, when it comes with the territories, because we're not ass scratchers. We're not Yassa bosses. We're not coons. You know what I'm saying? And we're going to bring you this. Negroes. Exactly, and we're going to bring you the Black experience from the beginning of time 10 minutes ago. Period. You see what I'm saying? So, ladies and gentlemen, those of you that hate us, please keep your hate mail coming in. And then when we do get back up, we'll be more than happy to read some of your hate mail and your idiocy on the air, where you can even call in and bring some of that garbage with you. we'll let you speak. We just know you don't represent us. And this is why we have created the hashtag resurrection of the mental dead.
Yes, sir.
Okay, Brother Chase. So I'm out here from Las Vegas, Nevada.
Okay. Thank you, Shabaka. Thank you for coming on there with Grand Risings with Shabaka on StreamYard.
Yes, sir.
Broadcasting on Frontline Black News, the Arena Uncensored, Politics for Blacks, or Politricks for Blacks. And that's who we were streaming on today. So I think Black Sun's gonna do a show later on. So make sure y'all stay tuned for that.
Right.
We're out from the Mile High Income City.
Yeah, man, and get rid of that Pony Express, man. And keep in mind, man, that we got a few weeks, man. You know, we got, man, you know, and then also them buckets out there, man. You know what I'm saying?
On my Nuggets, we number one.
Man, look, well, I got two fronts coming to you out here at the Pacific Division, the GSW and the Laws.
GSW lost the other day. And
they need work. They need work.
Already got beat already.
Yeah, they need work. It's still early in basketball season, as you know. It's an 88 game season. You know what I'm saying? I don't think you guys, man, can handle the pressure. You know, just like I told you. Just like I told you. Okay, just like I told you, they ain't great.
Bring out that broom on the Lakers,
man. But you guys only won one, man. Lakers got a lot of championships. So is the Warriors.
Some championships.
Yeah, and another team that I despise won a lot of championships because they beat the Lakers. I can't stand that green farming looking stupid hat, pigeon-toed fool. No, I'm talking about them bums called the Celtics, man. You know what I'm saying?
though.
Yeah, man, later for Boston, you know, that's racist city USA, man. And keep in mind from Boston, and the reason why I'm crumb bumming on them is because you can go to the Ebony Files, Jet Magazine from 1978, and that there's.
I got to go.
Oh, okay, all right, okay. So we'll continue on that while we crumb bum on Boston. Okay, Brother Che, I'm out, sir. Have a great day.
Thank y'all for tapping in. We'll see y'all later. Peace.
Always. Okay. Mm-hmm.